Hey guys, I know it's been a couple of days. I'm going to give you guys a quick little interesting story. A guy spots a mysterious hole in a lake, but what it really is shocks him. Okay? In the middle of Napa Valley, scenic wine country in Northern California, lies Lake Berryessa. It's an ordinary, if picturesque, lake that even appears in a James Bond movie. But the incredibly weird sight of a mysterious hole in the lake that one local would capture by chance on his drone one day would spread like wildfire across the internet, capturing the imaginations of millions of people. The strange phenomenon that had seemingly appeared overnight baffled the man who first photographed it, along left scores of passerby utterly mystified. How on earth could a body of water possibly have a hole in it? And what was it really? These questions would reveal some utterly astonishing revelations. The drone enthusiast and YouTube person, Evan K., otherwise known as Evan Kilkus, was working at Lake Berryessa in northern San Francisco Bay Area, California, when he would reveal a huge discovery about the lake that was beyond anyone's imagination. In his spare time, Evan enjoyed messing around with the coolest toy he owned, his drone. Given that impressive local scenery practically begged to be photographed, he had plenty of material. Little did he realize that his drone would be instrumental in bringing to light the insane discovery about the lake. As Evan reviewed the pictures that came from the outing with his drone, he did a double take. One of the shots his drone had taken over Lake Berryessa showed what appeared to be a massive hole in the water. At first, it appeared that perhaps his eyes were playing tricks on him. According to what his camera had captured, there was a large mysterious hole rupturing the surface of the Lake Berryessa, and it was sucking the lake's water right down into it. Which is really freaky. And I'm going to show you some pictures of it too. Okay. The hole defied all logic. How would any sane, clear-thinking person react to seeing such a thing? Instantly, even the wildest ideas seemed possible. It was like something out of a science fiction film, like a porthole to another dimension. Evan brought his drone ever so close back over Lake Berryessa in the direction of where he had first spotted this mysterious hole. He'd hoped to find something, any visual clue that could better explain the source of the hole. The drone hovered over the hole in Lake Berryessa on its renaissance mission, inching dangerously closer to the mouth edge. Its screen implicitly began to malfunction. At the sight of the lake, he noticed the controls were flashing. Evan quickly plotted his device back to the shore where he was standing to check up on it. Concerned, but still curious upon further inspection, he found that the drone's battery was low, but nevertheless suspected that a problem was bigger than that. Thankfully, Evan's drone had managed to get a close-up shot of the hole before he had been forced to bring it back to shore, but he couldn't see well enough into the hole to truly grasp what was going on. Shit looks scary as hell, people. Before going on a second photographic mission, Evan had to fix the problem with his drone. Now that he knew the vortex had a strong gravitational pull, that he had to be aware of as he hovered the drone over it, he'd be wiser. As Evan scoured the internet for any additional information he could find on this utterly strange sight that had captivated his imagination, he was flustered. He couldn't find any images that matched the hole he managed to photograph with the drone. In 1997, a woman named Emily was swimming in the Lake Berryessa, and out of nowhere she was sucked into a whirlpool, trying desperately to cling to stones around its edge for 30 minutes. She was ultimately pulled under and drowned. Okay. So if you see one of these guys, stay away from it. Evan flew his drone across the Lake Berryessa once more on a final mission to try to get as close of a look as possible. From the image in his aerial device brought back, he determined that the mysterious hole was roughly 70 feet in diameter. Which is fucking pretty big as opposed to a human being. Okay. Evan was not alone. More and more people driving on the road along the shore came to notice this incredible phenomenon. After all, few things are more offsetting than an eye-catching spy a massive hole in the middle of a large body of water. I don't know certainly if I'd want to be that close to it, but whatever. Let's see. King took note of the highly unusual circumstances. I went up there the other day, and there were about 15 drones flying around and people taking videos. Kevin King. It's really dramatic to watch. Even he was impressed by the incredible vortex of power. I didn't know so many people own these drone things. California is a notoriously dry state with precious few water resources. Therefore, Lake Berryessa was originally man-made, one of the largest artificial lakes in America. It was designed in conjunction with Napa County's Monticello Dam, flanked on its sides by the scenic Vacay Mountains. Okay? So this was a man-made lake, which is even stranger because you would think that wouldn't be possible in a man-made lake because it's not really a lake. Lake Berryessa is far more than a place of enjoyment. The water from the Monticello Dam is crucial to the people in the towns surrounding the area. What's more, the 526 billion gallons of water it holds are not only used for drinking and irrigation, it has another purpose that affects a huge portion of Northern California population. Okay, I'm just saving these pictures for you guys as I'm going through. Something had to ensure the lake would keep from flooding the road around it when its water level rose drastically. The architects therefore included what is known as a spillway in the lake's design. Originally, when a spillway is built, it's set into the walls of a dam, but this one was unique. Okay. The engineers who built Lake Berryessa had to make sure that the water didn't run out, but also they had to keep it continuously flowing, running out of the dam nearby Putah Creek. The functioning of the local infrastructure depends on it. Okay? It's amazing how, like, you could actually build a lake. It's nuts if you think about it. Under normal conditions of Lake Berryessa, water was low enough to not flood into the spillway. Already known for its dry climate and decided lack of rainfall, the state of California had experiencing a record drought for the past decade. Okay? Alright. Even in the spillway was man-made. The circumstance surrounding the extraordinary sight that had managed to capture Evan's imagination was in fact due to an extreme occurrence. The drought in California had finally ended, and with it came a rush of torrent rains. Okay? So, if the waters of Lake Berryessa reaches above 440 feet over sea level, it swamps the spillway funnel and disappears out of sight. Roaring on the other side of the dam, it's similar to what happens when a drain plug is pulled from a bathtub. Okay, so basically that's what this is. This is not like some nature miracle here. This is man-made, so it's a little boring now. I thought it was exciting. At first glance, the hole could look practically lethal. Indeed, the people who built Lake Berryessa itself definitely had human risk factors in mind. They are, in fact, buoys and guard barriers in the water that surround it in order to ward people off. Well, you know how stupid people are. So, you have a sign that says, do not touch, and people touch it. So, like, you know how that goes. Despite its ominous appearance, experts say the hole in Lake Berryessa is actually not too much of a threat, provided you don't get too close to it while swimming in the water. While its capacity may be staggering, its pull is not as strong as it may seem. Well, you know what? I wouldn't want to find out if it was or not, guys. Like, yeah, I'm good on that. Because of the startling footage that Evan uploaded to his YouTube account, the casual viewer at first glance would be highly unlikely to be able to understand what was going on. It may have seemed like an isolated phenomenon, and relatively speaking, it was. Okay, so it was kind of an odd thing because I guess from the little rainfall that they do get, people have rarely seen this happen. So, yeah, I guess it would freak you out. Evan had been able to capture a rare event from an even rarer type of architectural design. Bellmouth spillways, while uncommon, are able to funnel large amounts of water while maintaining a steady flow. This was the only one of its kind in the entire state. Okay. So basically they built a drain inside of this man-made river, which is kind of cool. Right around the same time that heavy rain caused a vortex in the lake, Berryessa, the same weather had catastrophic results elsewhere. The Sacramento area Lake Orville had all the same ingredients: a man-made body of water, a huge dam, and a spillway. Once Evan finally figured out what his drone had originally captured and what was going on in the area he worked in, it made him even more excited. It was a spectacular, rare sight to behold, and he wasn't the only one to take notice of the phenomenon. Just barely over half a year after Napa County and the online world discovered the incredible hole in Lake Berryessa that Evan had photographed, another major event in his area once again launched him back into the headlines. So let's see what this Evan guy found this time. In the fall of 2017, areas in both northern and southern California were struck by plagues of worst wildfires in state history. On October 8th, the blazes simultaneously started due to incredibly dangerous weather patterns, breaking out in 3 points across Evan County. Remember what Smokey the Bear said? Napa County as well, Napa County was well on its way to an absolute catastrophe of historical proportions. The size, scale, and speed of the wildfires around Lake Berryessa were menacing enough that many of the local residents, fearing for their lives, began panicking. Okay. Even as people around him left their properties behind, Evan had a special role to play for the sake of his community. He had a bigger responsibility as a member of the local Fire Safety Council for Lake Berryessa area, a position he took seriously. Okay. Sure enough, the call for local residents of Berryessa Highlands area to evacuate came the same day in the afternoon. It was mandatory. The clock was ticking, but yet again, Evan stayed behind. He had other plans in mind. From his years as a drone photographer enthusiast, he had plenty of experience filming this time. He wouldn't just use it for fun or for exploring bizarre phenomenon. The information he was about to provide would be crucial to thousands of people. Evan didn't just casually photograph the fire around Lake Berryessa. He stayed awake in shifts late into the night to monitor its progress, making sure it did not creep over the ridge of the hill just a mile away in the distance. Losing sleep and constantly being in fear for his property and his own safety was the least of Evan's concerns. As he tried to fulfill his photographic mission, he had to take extra measures in order to get his message out. As the families from Evan's area watched his Facebook live streams, they were relieved to see that their homes and properties were still intact, but they had another request for him. Could he take care of the pets they had left behind? Are you fucking serious? Yeah. You know what, people? When there's a fucking disaster, stop leaving your damn animals behind, you fucks. To express their gratitude, Evan's neighbors set up a GoFundMe page to cover his costs of expenses he had to incur through the stint. As an amateur reporter, he refuses to take their money, giving over $6,000 in donations to people who had lost everything. Why would you leave your animals behind during a wildfire? I'm not even getting into it, people. As for Evan himself, he could have known from the get-go that by sharing the footage of a whirlpool hole in his lake, his life would change forever. His YouTube channel went from having a few thousand views to 14 million. Wow. It's a lot of views. Okay, what's here? Okay, that's it, I think, here for the story. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I thought that you guys would enjoy that. And we learned something new. We learned that man-made lakes mostly have drains like a bathtub, which I did not know. Which is kind of cool. And being the fact that probably most people didn't know about it and they were there, you know, they lived by it their whole lives, they didn't even know about it. So it's kind of cool that this dude, I had a picture of him. discovered that because of the rains and the overflowing. Thank you, Evan. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Till next time. Hey, guys, I know it's been a couple of days.